Welcome again, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of F-Stop Live. So last week we had an amazing session with Ryan, and today we've got a really exciting one that's coming up. So if you have been following the Godox SA page, both the Facebook, the YouTube, and the Instagram, you would have noticed there's been someone that's been popping up quite a bit on all of our social feeds. And he's been doing a lot of unboxing and showing up some of the latest gear, some of the best gear to show exactly, what Godox is, what Godox has on offer. And today we get to introduce you to Ashvir. All right, so Ashvir, welcome to F-Stop Live. Welcome to F-Stop Live.
Hello to everyone that's watching both live and later.
Yeah, so it's actually a pleasure to have you today. I know, as I was just telling the people, that we had Ryan last week, and that was an exciting session. We got to introduce him as a creative that's now on the team. And we've also got you. Congratulations on making the cut. You are part of the Godox SA family.
Thank you. Great to be part of the team.
How does it feel? How does it feel?
No, it's great to always be with a collective of talented individuals. Godox has some of the best creators that we have in the country. So it's an amazing feeling to be part of the team.
No, definitely. I think, with the latest work, I was telling you about it just now, the latest sort of videos that I was seeing and your unboxing and the content, it's just been on fire. I think it gives the people a closer look at, the gear, the closer look at what we have on offer, the catalog and stuff. So that's really been exciting. So to the guys that are watching and tuning in, please drop a comment. Let me know where you are watching from. Just give me just say, hey, so-and-so, I am watching all the way from whichever city, and I will definitely give you a shout out. And if you do have any questions, you can actually ask us in the comment section, or we can actually go on later on to answer those questions. All right, so let's get into it, Ashvir. I'm gonna ask you a few quick fire questions. All right, if you can answer for me. I'll give you an option, and then you can actually just let me know which one you would go for. All right.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, quick one. Manchester or Liverpool?
Well, I know you're Liverpool, so I'm the other side.
Okay, now guys, cut. Let's just cut this thing and just cut it off. Okay, so you're a Manchester supporter, eh? Yes.
Yep.
Guys, I don't even. You just stumped me now. I don't even talk about anything after that.
Well, since I grew up in Durban, you know that it was either Manchester or Liverpool. That was the options we had growing up.
There was no other options. Okay, so if you had the chance, Nikon or Canon?
Well, I'm a Nikon shooter. I've always shot Nikon, always will shoot Nikon.
But how do you know what's amazing? How do you know what's nice out there if you've only shot Nikon?
I've shot with Canon, I've shot with Sony, I've shot with Fuji, I've tried them all, but I've spent my entire career on Nikon. I'm so used to the system. And just like how I am with Godox, I'm sort of brand loyal.
Okay. No, awesome. And if you tell me, if you could travel to any place quickly, would it be Dubai or would it be Abu Dhabi?
Well, I've been to Dubai, so I would love to visit Abu Dhabi as a next visit. I've done Dubai when I wasn't a photographer, so I would like to go back as a photographer because I want to do the cityscapes of both places. Dubai, I know it's more busy. I've seen most of Dubai, so I would love to visit Abu Dhabi as the next option.
Seychelles or Mauritius?
Well, having visited both, I like.
Okay.
I like Seychelles better because it's a lot more quieter. It's a lot more nature than Mauritius, and like the islands and the beaches are just a bit more stunning.
Okay, so let's get into it. Can you tell the viewers quickly who is Ashvir when it comes to your creative side of your career?
Well, I've started my journey, well, I'd say it's almost a decade. I think it's just under a decade that I've started. I began just as a normal creator. I've always loved photography. I've always played around with like the color screen phones that first came out, the those snap and shoot cameras that we always had. So when I did get my first DSLR, it was basically fun. It was just to practice, just to shoot, just to join Insta meets, meet other creators, and just to have fun. And my first few years, I spent it as purely a landscape photographer. So living in Gauteng, I mean, we don't really have much. So I loved going up onto like rooftops, tall buildings, shooting at night, shooting log exposures. That was my passion for the first few years. And since we don't have that much landscapes here, then I eventually diversified into shooting people. So people, lifestyle, portraits, cosplay, boudoir as well. So I've got like a big catalog of things that I do. It's been like 10 years of nonstop learning different genres, different sectors, just playing around, having fun, teaching as well. So that's basically been my career or last decade in a nutshell.
So while you're talking quickly about, because there's a lot of images that I want to get through, right? So while we're talking, I will just throw up some images, and obviously we'll discuss it as we go into it. So you mentioned landscape. You mentioned landscape, and I said I'll just throw up some of your images just so that people can see exactly who Ashvir is, because it's one thing that we come up on these sort of social feeds with Godox SA and stuff like that. The people who question like, hey, wait, who's this new guy and what does he do? But I want people to see actually the quality that's in your photography. This has been some really nice stuff that I've seen here. And I did see that you do quite a bit of traveling as well. So while we're talking, I'll just toggle through some of the images.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, so that was my sort of my photography sort of thing. And then I've only recently sort of dived into like video and doing a bit more YouTube. So that's why we have the Godox videos as well. So one of my passions is also teaching people. I love teaching. I love sharing knowledge because I believe even photography, knowledge is meant for sharing. And if I can help someone, and that's what I love doing. And that's why I spent some time trying to get my YouTube up and running so that I have a platform to basically teach more people. And now that I joined Godox as well, it gives more opportunities in learning new things and incorporating like all my styles that I have and all my genres into one to try and basically help groom our South African market and up the skill a lot of the guys that we have. So yeah, that's been my sort of 2024 goal, was to just basically just spend more time teaching and upskilling people. And that's what I'm pushing all my energy into.
So you say you've been in it for just almost about a decade. You said just short of a decade.
Yeah.
Can you tell the people whether you've been doing it full time or if you've been doing it part time?
Well, I mean, as we discussed, I mean, if I look at the hours that I put into photography, it's basically equivalent to doing a full-time job. I mean, I do have a full-time job that I'm still keeping. I haven't gone into photography business full-time. One of the reasons was that I never wanted it to become a job. I wanted it to stay as a passion and as something that just allows me to express myself and be creative. So at this point in time, I would say it's split as 2 full-time jobs. So the photography is basically as a second job at the moment. So I don't know when I have actually time to sleep. There's very little sleep time, but yeah, it is like a second job at the moment.
I like what you just said. Now there's very little sleep time. Tell me, do you also share the same problem that I have? For some reason, I feel like there's just not enough hours in a day.
Look, I mean, I'm a very light sleeper. I don't really sleep a lot. I mean, I feel that when you sleep, you're actually wasting time. So I like to try and get as much thing done. So I mean, even when I did these few Godox videos as well, I mean, most of the time I'm recording late at night because I need everything to be sort of dead silent. I need everything. I need peace of quiet, no cars moving around, no gates opening and closing in my estate. So I sit and work. Even when I'm doing editing, it's like late at night, and I work until like maybe 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning sometimes, because that's when I sort of flow the best. Earlier on, I may want to like watch a series or so, but when it comes to late night stuff, that's when I'm sort of like flowing. So yeah, there's very little bit time to sleep.
Just a quick one as well. For those people who actually want to really be successful in photography, what sort of role do you think sacrifice comes in? Because see what you just spoke about now, that's sacrifice, sacrifice because at the end of the day, you've got a 9 to 5. You're done with the 9 to 5, you come home, you spend time with your family. After spending time with your family, you're getting into now your the passionate part of your day, where you're busy with your photography and your videos and stuff.
Yeah. So, I
So
mean, the thing is, I mean, like in the last 10 years that I've been doing it, I mean, I've basically learned every single genre that there is. I mean, I spend time after work. I mean, the only thing that I used to do in my first few years, it was just constantly watching tutorials, how to do stuff, reading up on settings, reading up on stuff, going out, practicing it. So, I mean, the thing is, if you want to get better and you want to improve with anything, you need to invest time. Same like with your actual life or a job or studying, you have set amount of times that you need to put into it before you can actually qualify to get a degree or so. So, I mean, with anything, even if you don't have a degree, you still need time to actually practice, study, learn. And if you don't put in the time, you're basically never going to move up. The whole idea is that you need to invest time in yourself if you want to rank up. It doesn't come overnight. I mean, you would know as well. You need to study, learn, practice, see where you need to improve on. And if you don't put that time in, you're basically stuck at that same level forever.
100%. So I think if anything, the emphasis is on the fact that you have to be able to put in the time. And I've said this many a times before. With regards to your skill level, will only be able to grow with the amount of effort and time you put into it. So if you are only shooting on a weekend, it's going to grow at that rate. If you are only editing once in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, it's going to grow at that rate. However, if you find yourself constantly putting in the time, learning the softwares, learning the tools, learning the different instruments, learning what light does, learning what the camera does, learning your settings, and you keep pushing the different concepts, you will learn at a much faster rate when compared to others.
Yeah, no,
So,
exactly.
guys,
I mean, it's the same thing with me. Like, I mean, there were guys that are spent their entire lives shooting landscapes or people or portraits, and for me to catch up to their level and their skill and their quality, I basically had to invest all my free time into focusing on my passion. I mean, yeah, I could have gone clubbing, I could have spent time partying and being drunk, but this was my passion. This is what I wanted to do, and this is where all my free time went into investing in my own self and learning as much as I can. I mean, after 10 years, I'm still learning. There's still stuff that I don't know. That it's always a learning experience. You would think it's simple, but it's not. You just have to constantly develop and constantly improve.
I like what Carl is saying over here, and this is, Carl Daniels, our brand ambassador. So he says, try and make one day a week, trying to make new stuff. Some things work, others don't. I think it's important as well, that we push ourselves and try new concepts. Keep trying to advance our craft, because if you remain stagnant, you will never really grow at the sort of rate that you want to.
That's with anything in life. I mean, if you don't make an effort, you will always be stuck at the same level forever. I mean, you your own roadblock. Basically, you're the hurdle that you have, and you're the only one that can actually remove it.
100%. So yeah, with regards to late night, guys, if you're gonna want to get involved, you're gonna have to put in the late night. So there's barely any sleep, even for me. And I think if there's anything that we share, is the fact that we both do this part time. I've also got a day job, and I find myself rushing to come home and getting into the editing and trying to get this sorted out and trying to get that sorted out. I barely sleep more than 5 hours. I barely sleep more than 5 hours. It's never a thing where I have a full night's worth of rest, like 7 or 8 hours. It's impossible.
Yeah. And I think it's worse when you do video as well, because now if you find a flaw at a mistake in your stuff at 2 a.m., you basically want to fix it before you actually get back to
before
sleep.
you get you're like, oh no, and you'll never rest. You'll never rest until it's sorted out, and then you can go and rest. Yeah, so just a quick one. We got some shout outs over here. We've got Ryan that's joined us. Ryan, thank you so much for last week. It was
Hey, Ryan.
amazing, and thank you for watching through now. We've got Pagamani as well. Pagamani, thank
Hey,
you for
Pokemon.
watching. We've got Henny as well. Henny, thank you so much
Hi,
for joining. It's been awesome. And we've also got Mark Edwin here. Mark,
Hey, Mark.
thank you so much for joining. And Kenlan managed to make it. He's late, but he made it. Thank you so much,
Hey,
Kenlan. Yeah, so we got Carl saying over here, even full time, I don't sleep. Yeah, so man, I think it's actually important that we understand that there has to be some sort of sacrifice when it comes to wanting to grow in the craft. I'm just toggling through your images here. By the way, they're really nice. These are stunning shots.
Thanks.
Okay, so when you got into photography, was there any sort of assistance from maybe the community around you, the photography community?
There were, I would say, but I mean, most of the stuff that I've learned is basically by myself. I mean, I would basically watch people do stuff. I would watch like YouTubes and stuff, and basically try and learn and figure it out on my own. And I think that's where it basically, it would have made things easier if you had like a mentor back then. But I mean, the thing is, knowledge is available on the internet. I mean, we live in a time where everything is just a click of a button away. There's nothing that you can't learn by just Googling. And the thing is, if you're stuck, then a guidance and assistance would help. But yeah, for my first few years, I spent the entire time learning every single thing by myself. And then eventually, as it went on, then you sort of started learning from others, picking up tips and tricks here and there. But yeah, for the initial stages, it was only myself researching, practicing, and trying to fix it on my own.
You mentioned something that's important. You said knowledge. So I'm just going to ask you a quick question. Knowledge over gear or gear over knowledge? What would you say?
I would say knowledge over gear. I mean, it doesn't. I mean, in my first few years, I had such basic gear and just one lens. So the gear didn't really matter because I couldn't afford to buy 5 or 6 different lenses. So I just had one 24-70 2.8, and that was the only lens that I basically had. And I would say the knowledge is where it basically, if you know how to control lights, it doesn't matter what you're shooting. You would still be able to capture great images, whether it's landscapes, cars, automotives. So you need the knowledge to basically get the image.
I like what you said as well, light. And this is something I'm a huge proponent of, understanding light. If anything, and even at the workshops and stuff that I host, I always tell the people, you can have a standard camera, you can have a fairly good lens if you've got great lighting and if you've got great knowledge of lighting. So be it whether it's natural light or even strobe, if you've got a good knowledge base on lighting, how lighting behaves, how it works with the human anatomy. In my case, so I like portrait photography, and I mainly shoot people. So understanding how light works with the human anatomy, very important. Likewise, if you were an automotive photographer, you would need to understand that light works in a certain way. And because light works in a certain way, you get reflections. Because you get reflections, you look at using a CPL. There's certain things that you need to be able to have the knowledge set of prior to obviously having the gear. And one day when you do have the gear, it makes it all worth it. So you said something quickly, all right? You also said light, all right? You said you have to understand light. What would you choose? Quickly, just you need to be able to go and do a shoot. Would you do natural light or would you go strobe?
Look, majority of my earlier work were all natural lights because most of the times I shoot lifestyle or sort of like quick stuff. So it's normally natural light, and that's because I know how to control the natural light and do it. Even when I do shoot with strobes, I don't sort of like to keep it looking natural. So even if there is strobes in it, I tend to have the final image that looks more natural. So it looks like it's natural light, but it's actually not.
But I think I think that's what's important as well when shooting with strobe. And I'm sorry for interrupting you. What's important when shooting strobe is to ensure that it stays natural. It has to look natural. So balance is very important there.
Yeah. And as it goes back to understanding lights, and if you know how to control it and manipulate it, then you basically can get the end results that you want.
I like your Superman, yeah. This is a nice one.
Oh, that was lit up with the V1.
The V1 is such a nice light, eh?
Yeah, I mean it's light, small, and portable. So I mean, with the trigger, I mean you just can move it into any gap that you need.
I think the best thing about the V1 as well is the fact that it's so it's portable. And you can use it in almost any scenario. So if you want it on camera, you can use it on camera. If you want to use it off camera, it still packs a punch,
Yeah, no, definitely.
Beautiful light fall off it. So what's your favorite light, if you don't mind me asking quickly?
Well, I mean, I would say any one of them are actually my favorites. I mean, the only ones that I actually own is I've got the 8200 Pro, the V1, and the LC500, which is most of the time that I use. I mean, my 8200 Pro has been a workhorse for this last 4 to 5 years. It's done it. I think it needs to retire and I need to upgrade to something better. So I was definitely looking at getting the 8300s. So that's what I want to move on to next, because I think it's time to retire the 8200. It's seen better days. It's time to retire. But yeah, I mean, I've basically used it in almost every shot that I've done in the last maybe 3 or 4 years. It's been a constant feature in every shot that has a person in it. The 8200 has been there.
I think the 8200 is definitely a light for the ages, eh? I'd love to see them come out maybe with like a 8200 version 2, or like a Pro version 2 or Mark 2 of some sort. It's definitely a light for the ages. And so I currently own 8300s, and I've moved over to the 8300 from the 8200. At this stage, I've owned three 8200s. And I've loved every one of them. And in fact, I'll probably buy another 8200 sometime soon again. So beautiful light. And if anyone is interested, can you tell them your Godox code quickly so they can actually purchase using your code?
Well, it's just Godox Ashvir. So it's Godox and ASHVIR.
Awesome. Tell me something. With the community that you are based in, what is it like being a creative there?
Well, I mean, in the Gauteng market, I think it's a bit oversaturated at the moment, because every Tom, Dick, and Sally owns a camera. Everyone is a photographer. Everyone. So I mean, last week you guys spoke about the pie and being enough for everyone. Whereas I think in Gauteng, there's 1,000 people eating from the same pie. So it's very difficult. It's a very competitive market because you have like in your one specific area, there's maybe 40 photographers in one small area. Like if you take like Durban, for example, I mean, like take Umhlanga, for example. Now, maybe in a normal instance, you'll have like maybe 10 guys that are constant professional shooters. Whereas in Gauteng, in the same sort of area size, you've got like 40 or 50 competing for clients. So it becomes very competitive. There's still a lot of work. I mean, as you said, there's still a lot of the pie that you can eat. And that's one of the reasons as to why I have such a diverse portfolio, because if there's opportunities, that's where I'm going to eat. If that table is too full, I'm looking at the next table to move away, to try and get as much coverage as possible, even with like content creation in general. So if like traditional photography is sort of tied up, then I move into the media side of it to see where I can offer it. So as long as I'm biting a piece of pie, I know that I'm still okay. Instead of competing with that small pie that everyone is after and just earning peanuts. And that's the problem with Gauteng. It's just oversaturated at the moment. But as it, there is options, there is work. If you know what you're doing, you can still get whatever you need to do.
I think this is also something that's very important, and I'm glad we're having a sort of discussion on this. Durban as well, super competitive, and I think with Durban as well, the problem is it's just everyone's looking to cut the next end. I think I've actually looked at it in a different sort of light, and I think I'm able to have done this or have looked at it in this sort of light, and I'm going to explain quickly. Purely because maybe I'm working as well, so I've got a 9 to 5, but I've always looked at the Adidas Dolce and Gabbana argument. So I've actually coined it, the Adidas and the Dolce and Gabbana um, argument. The fact is, you can actually go into Dolce and Gabbana and you will find a specific tacky or shoe that's worth 25,000 or 35,000. It may not be your taste. It may be something that's just not for you. And you would say, you know what, I'm not going to spend 35,000 on a shoe. I'm going to spend 2,500 on a shoe. And you would go into an Adidas store and you would find that specific shoe that suits your style and you're happy with it, and you'd buy it. And that's your style. At the end of the day, when you purchase that shoe, you were not a Dolce and Gabbana consumer. You understand? That was not, you were not a part of the market. However, Dolce and Gabbana still exists and it still thrives in the markets that they find themselves in. That's just using that as a brand, as an example. So I always found myself in a position where I say, okay, fine, I'm here. There's other photographers that are also within the area. And I've noticed, especially with like among some of my friends and stuff, one of my friends is maybe not doing too good in photography and he's just not booking and he's not getting busy. He's not able to land the gigs and it's not working out. While on the other hand, I've got a friend that's literally overbooking. I've got a friend that's literally booking 4 weddings per weekend. This is a fact. I'm telling you a fact. I have a friend that books 4 to 5 weddings per weekend. And he's booked all the way into 2025 in advance. And yet there's other photographers that are struggling to book 2 weddings or 1 wedding. I think the whole perception is the fact that you have to be able to get good marketing skills and you have to be able to position yourself into niche markets, get yourself into a position where you're selling value and not just pictures, You must have some sort of value that you add to a client or a client base before, you can actually be fully booked all this time. So as I said, so in the same market, the same fashion market, you find Dolce. In the same fashion market, you find Adidas. Both of them are thriving, but they don't have the same product offering,
Yeah, no, that's the thing is that, I mean, once you get a specific sort of target market and that's your thing, I mean, you rather take the week. If you don't have bookings, it's easier to take the time off than to basically go cut yourself and suffer and just become a normal statistic like the rest of the guys. You're not, if that one table is full of guys, you might as well stick to your quality, stick to your brand, and there's other different branches. The tree always has multiple branches, so there's always a target market. And I mean, if you are Dolce and Gabbana, then you stick to being it. No discounts, no cutting, no factory stores. You just stick to being Dolce and Gabbana.
No, that's definitely important. So this is basically the argument that I've had with photographer for years. Yes, the market is saturated, period. There's no even argument about that. It is oversaturated, but at the end of the day, there has to be some sort of thing. If it's how can I say it, for the lack of a better term, thing, but there has to be some sort of value that you provide that someone else does not provide. It maybe it's not the quality of your images. Maybe it's the way you relate with people, Maybe you're a social person, maybe you're outgoing, maybe those people feel fun and loved and excited just shooting with you when compared to someone else that his work is absolutely amazing. However, that person is maybe dull. He just points the camera and just shoots and does not really engage with the people. So it can be a value-added service. It's not, as I'm saying, I have to say value. It's not just the quality of the images, because I know people that have absolutely astounding images, absolutely astounding quality, and they're battling to book. They're just battling to book. They can't get the bookings. It's not coming in,
I mean,
So it's
there's so many people, but I mean, I said, you as a brand just need to stick to what you're good at, and
100%.
You will get the bookings. It will come. It may not come every single day or every single week, but it will be there, as long as you stick to being who you are.
100%. So I was asking you with regards to the community that you are in. Are you happy with the sort of community, the photography of community, the community of photographers that you are part of?
Yeah, look, I mean, for over the decade, I mean, I haven't really had any issues with anyone. I mean, it's been even though it's been competitive, there's always different options. There's always different opportunities, and at the same time, I'm even grooming some of those people as well. So now the guys that actually do steal your business or cut your jobs are not the actual people that are actually skilled in your stuff. It's just those random people that come in with cameras. So the general professional community, the guys who've invested the same amount of time as we are in upskilling, those guys are, I mean, they've been quite, yeah, you do get the odd guy here or there or odd lady that's a bit competitive and will sort of turn things down. But most of the guys are very actually supportive and try to uplift each other as well. I mean, there's so many times with having a 9-to-5 job, where I'll pass it on to different guys. I mean, it's not the same guy that I may recommend. I'll give it to like 5 or 6 people that I know to give everyone a chance to eat as well. So it's been, I mean, a supportive community. I mean, I am where I am because of the community as well. I've been like sort of only in Gauteng. So I know certain of the other places are a bit uptight and a bit faulty. I mean, the Durban community, I haven't really shot much in Durban except for landscapes. So I don't know much of the guys down there. I know the Cape Town guys, like what you discussed last week, it is a bit of an uptight market. But yeah, the Gauteng guys have been sort of fun to work with and deal with. I haven't really had any issues with anyone. And I mean, I'm not the type of person to have issues with anyone. I get along with anyone.
Is there anything that you'd like to maybe improve in the actual industry?
Well, photography-wise, I mean, I think I've covered all that I need to do. I'm sort of good. The only thing that I was lacking behind was in terms of video stuff. Because I mean, for the first few years, I mean, owning a DSLR means that I couldn't really do much video. I was sort of stuck behind. It's only when I moved on to mirrorless now that it gives me opportunity to sort of improve in that market. So that's where I want to take that. That's like the area that I'm currently working on. It's just sort of just improve video, and that's one of the reasons for the YouTube is basically just to create more video content, more like tutorials, documentaries, while traveling to capture that. So I would say I'm still sort of intermediate in the video level. So that's where I want to put all my time and effort into for this year and maybe next year to just pick up that area. So photography wise, I think it's sort of okay. Maybe a bit more on the lighting side because I don't really shoot much studio stuff. Most of my stuff is all outdoor, or as a lifestyle is basically all outdoor. If I do boudoir, it's indoor, but boudoir is very controlled lighting. So one of the areas maybe like in terms of like the fashion, editorial, but yeah, video is my sort of main sector for this next 2 years.
See, while we were speaking about the actual fashion work that you did or do, I'm actually going to throw this up quickly just so we can carry on discussing that. So what's it like? I know you said you started off doing a lot of landscapes and stuff, but now with people, you have to prefer something. What do you prefer?
Look, I mean, I enjoy everything. I mean, the thing is, as a creative and a creator, I mean, I enjoy everything. Whether it's the landscapes, the people, or macro, or whatever, including the video and the YouTube stuff. I mean, I enjoy everything. As long as I'm creating, I'm sort of happy and content. Originally, I loved landscapes because I was more of an introvert. So it took some time to sort of blend in and warm up to being more of a people person. I mean, I do enjoy people and I enjoy meeting new people. That's why I shoot like a lot of events, cosplay events. There's a lot of like engaging with different types of people. So both are exactly fun. The landscapes, I think, is more to sort of get my creativity back in line. It gives me a chance to break away from people a bit and to refocus and re-energize. So in terms of that, and to get away from the 9 to 5 stress as well. That's why I love the landscapes. It just gives me time to switch off. But yeah, I mean, for the last few years, I mean, for the last 6 years that I've been doing people, I mean, it's been my main business. My business is people. Landscapes is basically just there as my introduction. That was who I was, and that's what I still keep along. And it just might get away from the stress of the 9 to 5. Ideally, I would love to become a full-time travel photographer one day, but the wallet doesn't allow that.
I think we need to be able to get maybe like a sponsor that would sponsor these trips and still pay you.
As soon, when I take an early retirement, then I need a sponsor. Then I'll be everywhere else.
No, definitely. I'm looking at some of your pictures, and yes, these are stunning. You definitely know your light, especially if you're saying you were shooting with the 8200. Oof.
Yeah, look, as I said, I mean, before, my main style is basically just to have minimal light look. So it's the minimal strobe look, just to sort of fill in the shadows and dark areas. And that's what my style is basically. It's basically just to fill in the shadows and to make it look natural and editorial, but not to be so strobe effect. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with it. It's just that my style basically is just to fill in the shadows and to keep it as natural looking as possible.
And it's stunning. You've actually mastered your style.
Yeah.
What camera are you currently shooting with? Just for the guests.
Nikon, so it's a Nikon Z6 II.
Z6 II, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, this is stunning. Do you mind telling the people how you lit this one up?
Well, this was just with one light. So this was just the 8200 Pro on, I think it's 110 or 120 millimeter octabox. The Godox one, I'm not sure what the number is. So it was just one light, which was the 8200 Pro. Just from the one side, I'm not sure if I did have the V1 or not, but I think it was just one light, just 8200 Pro and 120 millimeter octabox at a top angle, and basically that was all that I had.
100%. Tell me something. With you spoke about actually being a full-time travel photographer, or you'd like to travel, right?
Yeah.
Are there any steps that you are taking towards that goal, or is it just something that's like a distant hope?
Well, I think that's one of the reasons why I still have my 9 to 5, so that I can actually reach that goal quicker than being a full-time photography stuff, because it means that I'm only going to be shooting nonstop just to survive. Whereas having that set income means that I can work towards those other goals, and that's one of the reasons why I kept it, so that I can sort of get my goals ticked off while I'm sort of moving the other side as well. So one day that I know that I don't have any debt, I don't have any house to pay off, I don't have any car to pay off, I'm sort of done. I don't have to fight for breadcrumbs to survive like other guys. It gives me that opportunity. So I am working on it. Maybe in the next 2 or 3 years, hopefully I can take a break and go on like a travel journey. Don't know where to for initially, but yeah, it's something that I want to sort of do in the next 5 years.
No, definite. So I think the main thing is that we actually sit down and we put down the goals together. You do short-term goals, you do long-term goals, and work towards it. Because at the end of the day, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Yeah, look, and the thing is, life is so expensive these days, especially if you're looking at gear. Gear costs you like 2 or 3 months' salary at one go. Now, if you don't know how to plan and budget, you basically can't. Even if it is your full-time business, if you make a wrong decision, you're basically screwed for that entire year or 2 years. You need to repay your gear off, and that's why you have, as you mentioned earlier, you have guys that have the quality but are not getting any bookings. So it means that you're basically stuck in a corner where you're struggling. And that's where I don't want to be. I want to be in a point where I can just say, okay, I'm taking a break from photography or whatever for the next 3 months or 4 months, and I'm gone on a worldwide tour. That's what I want to do, and that's why I'm working towards at the moment by still keeping the 9 to 5.
Exactly. If you can just answer one quickly, I've got one over here. I want to just tell you. What inspires you? Where do you get your inspiration?
Well, I mean, I would think it's from like seeing other guys in the same industry. It doesn't matter what genre there is. I mean, we have so many talented artists in South Africa and in the world as well. But I mean, in South Africa itself, we have so many people that have basically came up the hard way. They've struggled, they worked, they improved. So seeing guys improve all the time, seeing people move up levels, automatically gives me that energy to keep being inspired. I think for still being a landscape photographer, that also helps me zone back into my creativity side. When I feel like I'm at a dead end, I just go out and shoot like landscapes for the weekend or so, and then it gets my mind working again for ideas. So I think one of the main things is seeing people progress. Seeing people progress and happy and growing is an automatic sort of boost to myself as well. It just brings me back up to speed. I mean, that's why I love teaching, because if I see someone improving and leveling up, that just gives me an automatic energy boost.
Just a quick one. You spoke about obviously getting that sort of feeling again, or should I say, getting that boost of emotion again and loving what you do. Have you experienced burnout?
Yeah, a lot of times. And I think, as we mentioned, trying to manage two different things, trying to manage a full-time job and the after hours is basically how you get burnt out. Photography-wise, creativity-wise, it does happen. When you end up only doing stuff just to pay the bills, you sort of get burnt out because it becomes more like just work itself. So you're just working constantly on a repetitive thing. You're not sort of improving your skills, you're not adjusting, you're not adventuring into your passion, you're just stuck in a busy highway. And that's where the burnout starts creeping in. And then, I mean, I had it a few times where you have like events and shoots day after day, Saturday, Sunday, or if you take leave or you're working full days, and it becomes like a mundane thing, and that's where the burnout kicks in. But most of the time I try and avoid it, and that's why I still keep my landscape stuff, because it gives me time to sort of break away, de-stress, and come back into it. But the burnout is definitely there, especially when you're meeting deadlines or you have clients that are pushing you for stuff. That's when the burnout sort of gets in. So it's always there, just that I can better control it at the moment.
So as you said, so you use your time going out and shooting landscapes as a sort of mechanism to cope, a coping mechanism.
Yeah, it's basically just a balancing mechanism. Yeah.
100%. I think it's very important that people understand that creativity flows from not a place of comfort and not just a place of obviously being in good emotions, but you have to have a sort of center of gravity. When I say that, I'm talking about like, because there's many pressures that we deal with. For example, you could have maybe had an argument with the family, and now you go out and you're doing a shoot and you're going to be like, oh my word, now you're not in the right frame of mind. Or say maybe someone upset you at work, and now straight afterwards you're actually running out to go and do a shoot, and now you're dealing with clients, and at the end of the day you may be not in the good mood, maybe emotionally feel like you're drained and you're just not feeling that day, but at the end of the day you've been paid to cover a specific shoot. You're there to cover a specific shoot. You are paid to be the creative director at that specific shoot, to be able to get that sort of creativity out of those people. And at the end of the day, once you press the shutter, you're gonna have to go and deal with it. So you gotta have a center of gravity.
You need to have balance. You need how to balance your life and your lifestyle and your work, and know how to basically overcome the situations. Because I think most of the guys who don't know how to do it is obviously those ones that are trying to compete and grab a piece of that pie that you have on that one table, as I mentioned earlier. But if you can balance it and you know how to control yourself, then you can, as I said, you just branch out into various things. Like when I did an unboxing for the Verso M2 wireless microphone. Because I did the stop motion unboxing for it as well, over and above the normal video. But the idea only came when I went out to actually test the audio outdoors. Like I went to the park while I was doing it, and then the idea popped in. It's like, oh, this would be cool. Let's do a stop motion video. but it never came to me before that. It's like before that, it was just let's do the normal unboxing and finish. It was like I took a break from it, and then the idea just flowed in. So I think if people like sort of adapt that and try to create that balance, and then you can always sort of be on top of your game.
100%. So I think, with regards to creativity as well, you have to be able to, as you just said now, get your balance right. Balance is absolutely important. So I think that's where we actually fail at times. We don't have a sort of balanced lifestyle. Many of our families are also, facing the bare brunt of us not having a balanced life. Same goes with me. There's no such thing as like, oh, he's a brand ambassador, he's got his entire life together. That's not the case. It doesn't work that way.
You're always running a rat race, and you just have to know how to beat the competition.
So just a quick one, man. How do you look at balancing your life? How do you work it? So is it just work 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, come home, photography nonstop, or do you actually stage it? How do you do that?
I stage it to what I want to do. If I have stuff that I want to do, and I think that gives me the benefit because I know that I don't rely on the photography income to survive. And that's where it gives me the opportunity to actually plan. So my month is like basically planned out ahead. So if I have shoots that are full up, then it's fine. But if I've got like time in between, I'll balance like, okay, I need to do something for myself. Because the thing is, you also need to look after yourself over and above your actual passions and career. So you need to find time, like if you have kids, like you've got kids, you need to have time to balance and fit them into your schedule as well. Because once you miss out, so I try and take it one step at a time. I do plan like the shoots and stuff in advance. Like if I need content, I'll plan it and knock it out at one go. But that's like for the first 2 weeks, I know that I'm pushing hard. The next 2 weeks is time that I need to do stuff for myself. I need to attend a concert, an event. I need to go to a movie premiere. I need to attend this event. So everything is planned. And I think being in a corporate world means I'm always sticking to plans. Unfortunately, it's become a very scheduled type of schedule, Excel type of planning things. And that's how I've been managing it all these years. So yeah, I mean, planning is basically essential because if you just do things out of the blue, you basically lose track of where you are. So I try to keep it scheduled, and it keeps me in check. It keeps me in balance. It keeps me running that rat race without sort of burning out again.
I think that's so important, planning. And as I said before, it's either you plan or you plan to fail.
Yeah.
It's if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. That's exactly
I mean, with everything, even like with the content. I mean, like for the videos of the unboxing, if I don't do a planning script, I don't know where I'm going with the video. Because I need to script it and plan. So planning is essential to sort of know where you're heading. If you don't, you basically will just be all over the place. I mean, unless you're a super pro that you can just comfortable to do it out of the blue. But for people who are struggling and people who are learning or people who are still leveling up, planning basically helps keep you on track.
Just a quick one, and this is off topic from what we've discussed now. You've actually gotten the attention of Godox South Africa, and you are now a part of the team. And I know I covered this recently with Carl Daniels, and we actually went into detail with how he actually rose up to the ranks of an ambassador. But just say, for example, I'm just watching it now. I always tune into F-Stop Live, and I get to listen to Sherwin and Ashvir speak about, the many different topics on photography that they're covering. But I would like to know, what would I need to do to get the attention of Godox SA, or to even just say maybe I've got a desire to be an ambassador, or I've got a desire to be a creative, to get the attention of Godox SA and to be able to, work with the brand. What advice would you give me, Ashvir?
Look, I mean, I would say it doesn't really matter on the actual quality of your work. Basically with anything in life, it's basically a give and receive situation. And the thing is, that's what people fail to realize. Everybody just wants stuff. Everybody wants to benefit. Even in your normal influencer levels, people want, but nobody gives back. And another thing is, you can have the quality, or you can don't have the quality, or you're just still leveling up. But if you help the company grow, or you have things to offer that people could look at, then you basically bring in the scale in balance. And that's what people need to work on. So you need to offer something so that the brand can benefit and you can benefit from the brand as well. And I think if you bring those two together, and that's where you could basically catch attention, because everybody is trying to eat, as everybody is trying to eat, everybody is trying to get a piece of the pie. It's not a give and receive. There's no such thing as a free lunch. You have to work for it. You have to basically show that you're capable of working for it. You have to have the quality and willing to basically level up by using the brand, by promoting the brands. It doesn't matter what brand it is. No matter what you do, you need to give back so that people could basically invest time in you. Because if they see the potential, if they see that you have something to offer, you make a valuable team member, you make a valuable student, and you can grow with the brand, that's when you can sort of get notice and attention. It's the same thing that like with my Nikon as well. Because I'm a trainer for Nikon school, it's because I put in the time and effort. I'm brand loyal. I spend time developing it. I'm putting out quality content, quality stuff. I'm giving back by promoting the brand. Same with the Godox side as well, which is only been for 1 month, but basically it's about giving back. It's basically creating a balance. It's you take and you receive. If you don't have that scales in balance, then you're never gonna get noticed. Because if it's one is high and one is low, nobody's gonna ever see you in the bottom here. You need to basically bring the scale in balance to actually make it out there.
I think I'm also going to just touch on something quickly. You mentioned brand loyalty. You got to be brand loyal. And this is something that escapes so many people. And I think I've actually adopted it to myself in the sense of this. And I'll mention them purely because they are a registered Godox South Africa supplier. So I purchase all of my items from Photo Freedom, right? So whenever I request anything that I want to purchase, I'd get it through them, right? So I could even go online and I'd find something online, you know?
Yeah.
Like for example, even recently with some memory cards and stuff, I'd find it online. It would be at the different brands that are online. It would be at a good price online, and I would then go to this local camera shop that's in Durban North, and I will tell him, hey, like this is what I'm looking for. I know you're used to stock it. You may not have stock of it right now, but can you get it for me? You know, and they would then go and find it, get it, bring it in. Call me, hey, Sherwin, we've got your item over here. Let me know if you want to come and pick it up. Sometimes it may be just a little bit more expensive than some of the other places where I would have found it online.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, these are the guys that have backed me up since day one. You know, these are the guys that have supported me. Like there were times where I didn't have batteries, or there were times that I didn't have a camera, or I didn't have a lens, or I was stuck. Like and these were the guys that would support me. And I find being this brand loyalty, it's something that it's actually truly a beautiful thing if you really invest yourself into it. So
yeah.
I invested myself with that brand, Photo Freedom, and I've been paid the dividends. There's times where I get stuff from them that you would never expect anybody to get. Like for example, there's a GFX that's here. So this is the GFX, the GFX 100S. I got it through them, through Fujifilm South Africa, and as you can see, it's seated here on my desk, and I get to shoot with it for a week. And that's done through Photo Freedom. So the same goes for Godox South Africa. Yeah. Whenever I need anything, I purchase it through Godox SA. And yes, 100%, I may be able to find something that's cheaper out there, but do they give me the kind of support that Godox South Africa gives me? No. Do they offer free training? No. Are they busy putting out their brand? Those people that you want to go and purchase it from, are they busy putting out their brand ambassadors and their influencers and stuff? Are they getting them to do content like this on a continuous basis? No, not at all. Brand loyalty, big thing.
It goes back to what you said earlier. You're basically building a community. So you have a community. It's same like having a family, and that's where your community grows. So you help your community members level up and grow and make stuff, and then you benefit at the same time. So you basically developing your own community and growing with your community.
100%, 100%. And the funny thing is, I've noticed there's so many guys that want to, they want to save that buck, They always know it's cheaper, yeah. They want to find the cheapest thing. You always find them. No, they go online, they get the cheapest thing, they get the cheapest thing, constantly wanting to save the buck, which is fine. It's fine, completely well. But you are building no lasting relationship, because at the end of the day, when your purchase goes off, you are just a digit to those people. You understand? Those people don't know, like, oh, hey, Ashvir is purchased from us. Ashvir is purchased from us. Ashvir is purchased from us. Let me build some sort of relationship with it. Never. It doesn't work that way, because you are just a number. And that's why, if anything, I suggest to people as well. If you want to purchase, go and purchase to one of the ambassadors. Contact the ambassador, tell him, like, hey, or for example, contact Ashvir. Ashvir, I'm looking for a light. What would you suggest? Ashvir will tell you, hey, depending on what you're looking for, and this is a sort of scenario, go for this light. Ashvir will tell you, hey, use my code, you'll get a discount, and then now you're automatically building a relationship with Ashvir.
Yeah.
So now, if the same guy that went and purchased the light comes back, Ashvir, and he asks you for advice, are you not going to give it to him?
No, you're going to help. I mean, you're going to help whoever you can. I mean, the thing is, as long as you have that community, you have someone that looked up to you, someone asked you for help, someone helped you in the past, you're going to help as much as you can to help. I mean, the thing is that knowledge is meant for sharing. If you
100%.
can help someone make better decisions, you might as well do it. You're not going to lose anything from it, unless they
100%.
go steal a big contract that you have. But chances of that happening is very rare.
Very rare. Yeah. No, I agree. But thank you so much, Ashvir, for joining us. It's definitely been a fun one.
It's been a pleasure.
In closing, before we say bye, I know that we're actually quite tight with your electricity. I know you don't have power. Thank goodness you've got battery power that you're running off right now.
Yeah, so at least that's safe.
What would your advice be for anyone that's coming up in the photography industry now? Just say maybe someone that recently bought a camera, he's just started off and he's watching this and he wants some advice. What would you advise them?
I mean, I would say the key thing for someone that's growing up is basically that there's no such thing as overnight success. We talked about it earlier, is that there are people that spend 30 years or their entire life basically working on their craft and their skill. Nothing happens overnight. You need to spend time, you need to develop, you need to plan. Everything that we discussed in this episode, I think, all comes into effect when planning your next level up. So you need to plan, you need to have references, you need to have people that you admire, that you want to sort of emulate and sort of copy. You need to ask for help if you want to move faster. And you basically need to put in the time and effort. It may sound boring to say that you need to study stuff, but the only way you can get your knowledge is by studying. It's either if you're watching a webinar or a live training like what we have here, or attending to one of the Godox live workshops. You need to invest in yourself. You are a student, just like you in a university. If you don't pay your university fees, you're going to be kicked out and you're not going to go anywhere. You need to take the time and effort and invest in your growth. It's going to be a long growth. It's going to take sometimes maybe up to 5 or 6 years before you can actually start seeing quality work from yourself. Some people may be sooner, some people may even take 10 years. You have to invest the time into actually learning and improving. You need to have steps as, do I want to spend the entire 6 hours binge watching a series, or do I want to spend 2 hours watching Sherwin discuss how to control lights? That's what you need to do. You need to say, that's where I want to go. That's my passion, and invest, plan, and do the steps. So yeah, anyone that's just starting out needs to spend time learning. They need to follow the right people, the right advice, ask for help. And basically, yeah, no matter what you do, whether it's photo, video, content creation, YouTube stuff, you're going to have to follow people, emulate, and learn from them. That's the quickest way to actually grow.
100%. Ashvir, thank you so much for joining us. Is there anything that you're planning for the near future that you'd like to maybe tell the people about? Maybe like an announcement?
Well, nothing big at the moment. Hopefully we have some more videos coming up. Hopefully the channel starts growing. I do want to have more training and tutorials on my YouTube channel as well. So I will.
You want to direct them? You want to direct them quickly to your? You want to direct them quickly to your YouTube channel?
Yeah, well, it's just Ashvir Maharaj photo. I'll post a link to all my stuff in the comments. So if anyone misses it or you don't know how to spell my name and surname, you can go in the comments later. I'll just have all my links together, and you can go follow my channel. So there will be more trainings coming up. There will be a lot of Godox stuff coming up, a lot of training on lighting, a lot of training on other stuff that Godox, even audio as well. So there will be a lot of things that can help you grow and benefit, and most of them will be free of charge on the actual YouTube. So do follow my accounts, because there will be a lot of things coming up.
100%. You want to share? Maybe you want to share your socials with them as well. Are you going to put it in the comments?
I'll just
as well?
post all my links together in one link. So from there, it's just a link tree of everything. So people can find all my 100 social medias, because I've got everything. Every genre is split by different accounts. So it just becomes easier for everyone. But yeah, you just have to search Ashvir Maharaj, and you'll probably find everything.
Ashvir, thank you so much for joining us. As I said, it's definitely a pleasure. It's definitely a pleasure having you on the team. It's actually quite exciting because, to see the type of video content that you are doing, this unboxing, the stop motions, it's been absolutely insane. So getting the chance to be able to speak to you, getting a chance for the people to be able to see the kind of quality you produce, the images and the work that you produce has been amazing. I know definitely we will do another F-Stop Live, maybe sometime in the future when you're available. And we'll have obviously a specific topic that we can cover. But thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the night.
Cheers, you too.
Thank you. Cheers.
Okay, cheers. Bye, everyone.
So, guys, that was an awesome session having Ashvir. I didn't want to keep him for too long because, as I stated, he is actually moving on battery power right now. There's actually no power at all in his area. So yeah, if you are looking to purchase anything from Godox South Africa, do use my code. You will find it here. It's Godox Sherwin, and you will get a 5% discount on any of your purchases. If you are looking to purchase lighting and maybe you do not know exactly what is best suited for you, and maybe you do not have the slightest of knowledge when it comes to lighting and what you need and what you should get, drop me a DM and I will definitely respond. You can find me at Sherwin Pather on all of my social feeds. That's SHERWIN. You'll find me on Instagram. I'm on Facebook, and I'm on YouTube. Like the YouTube, follow, subscribe. That'll be awesome. I'd appreciate that. But yeah, guys, it's been an amazing time, and I hope you enjoyed. So I will see you again. So it may not be next week. We are scheduling one for 2 weeks from now, and the information will drop soon where you'll be able to actually see exactly who it is that we're going to have up next. If there's anyone that you would suggest that we should interview and get them on Godox SA on the F-Stop Live, drop their name in the comments. Okay, drop their name in the comments. Tell me, hey, Sherwin, just check this guy out. If you can, drop his link in the comments. Maybe their Instagram or their Facebook. Drop the link in the comment. Say, hey, just check this guy out. Go and watch them out, and I will definitely follow them. And if the quality is amazing, and if definitely they are loyal Godox South Africa customers, then I will definitely look at getting them on the show. But guys, thank you so much for joining us. Wish you all the best. Enjoy your weekend, and do not do anything that I would not do. All right, take care. Enjoy your night. Goodbye.